Okay.
Our professional establishment here.
Riv, I'm starting the stage so that everybody should be able to see. You're only going to see my camera because we're going to go to we're going to start off by taking a look at the community trailer that we put together. So if you guys remember in beta 4, I posted something into the chat. I was like, "Hey, what if we just made a trailer that included clips that you submit?" Because I know how many of you guys like to record your sessions. I had seen so many clips kind of like slipping around. I was like, "Oh, yeah, we'll see. What's that look like? What's it going to be like? 5, 10 people? No, over an hour of footage. Okay, over an hour of footage you guys submitted. So we have this very sweet, very hype community sizzle reel that I wanna debut for all of you. So give me just 1 second. I will set that up for you guys in the chat, and we will get it twisted.
Let's go. Let's see your clips.
Let's go. Oh, actually, hold on. I am just now realizing I'm afraid that this isn't going to play the music that I need it to. Well, whatever. Let's see. When I hit this button to transition, are you guys hearing any music?
No.
Crap. Okay, 1
Audience,
second.
are you? Nope. Audience says no.
All right, quick. Let me just do some quick tech stuff.
We're professionals.
You wouldn't know this, but we actually did a whole tech check 30 minutes before this.
30 minutes before this, yeah. And I am just now finding out. Okay, 1 second. And I will share my screen, and we will.
Sorry, guys, we canceled all music in Airframe.
Okay, this time for real. Now. Okay, when I press play, tell me if you guys hear it.
Airframe Ultra.
Yeah.
This week has seen a huge uptick in riders in Mega City West, making a name for themselves. The streets have never felt more alive, and it's all thanks to you. The following footage is but a small sample of the metal scrapping blowout that lit up the place.
Let's go.
Fuck you. Wait.
Oh, truck! Oh, I just went under the truck! Oh, I just went under the truck!
I'm so glad you included the player audio for this.
Liquid. We need to nerf everything. Nerf across the board.
They're so mad at you about the hopper right now. You don't want to stir that pot.
It's the flat nerf on all of it. Whoa. It was such a cozy time, and then they did that. It's rough.
I didn't see that plane ride before. That was crazy.
Seeing everybody's marvelous performance in the race brings a tear to my eye, but some riders prefer to instead throw hands.
Oh, cute. That's beautiful. Wait.
Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Yes.
Yeah, I really. Oh crap.
Just seeing everybody's left shoulder. Oh. Whoa.
Ooh, nice. Ooh, nice.
Good underdog victory. I like that.
Okay, this is awesome. This needs to be a feature.
Feature. It's feature.
Look at me, I'm winning. I'm gonna win, guys.
No way. No way. I have not seen that before.
You've seen that. A mommy? Naked guy? Evil naked guy?
CrossFit. Oh, sick. Someone's sick with the flips.
What do you think? This new track is so cool.
Thank you. I've got a couple more in that style as well. Cooking.
Keep tearing the streets and keep Mega City West alive. Until next time, racers.
Airframe Ultra.
Yeah. Good clips, gang. Y'all are killing it. I saw things I didn't want to see.
Thank you, gamers, for sharing all that with us. Okay, give me just 10 seconds, and we will get things. We will get things started. Now, I did promise that we were going to play with the devs, so I do have some friends in the chat, Xavier, Luis, and Riv, who are going to do a little play with you guys while we answer your questions. So if you have ever had burning questions for James, for Yoar, if you want to know all about how we made Ocean Drive, or what we were thinking about when it came to the different bikes or something like that, please feel free to go ahead and ask. Oh, give me a second. I also need to share my screen so you guys can see. Can you guys watch? You're watching Xavier's stream. You ready to go?
Let's go.
Let's go.
Should we get some of the stream audio as well?
I don't know. Yeah, we're not going to be able to get the audio, I think, through Discord because it's probably going to have the same problem.
Okay.
What if I stream the gameplay, buddy? Would that do it instead?
Oh, yes. You know what? You're right. I think if you stream the gameplay, it will work. So
Yeah.
everybody who's on the Akupara, like the live stream on Twitch, is going to be hearing it. But in
set this up.
Discord, Luis, you can set up your stream and you'll have the audio that way.
Let me set this up.
That's at least something. Good.
That's at least something. Anyway, so let's take a look at some of the stuff in the chat. The very first question that we had was from Max Dubstep, who is going to feature a little bit later in the stream. How did you compile all of the submitted graffitis for the Ocean Drive wall so quickly?
Well, that's definitely a good question.
So there was it was actually an even 500 in the end, and I pulled all of them into a folder, and then I had the Photoshop, the PSD to end all others. That was like, I think 40,000 pixels wide or something like that, and I just pulled them in one after the other. But yeah, it was an undertaking.
I feel like the answer to all of these like development related questions is like lots of work. Like the answer is always
you do it. Yeah.
It's like Yoar is slaving over a computer for like 10 hours straight, or like 3 weeks straight, or 3 months straight. Like that's the answer to all the questions.
Yeah, there's no magic sauce. It's just doing it, right?
So the live stream, we're just hiding behind porta potties. I like that. I like that a lot.
We could also take a look. Xavier's just beating up his own bike in the control room.
I think we're waiting on Luis. Luis,
What's
I will
your-
up the player
what's
count
the-
when you're good?
What's the join again?
It's play with devs.
Play with devs.
Tell
Just
me
told
when you're
everybody
ready.
that.
We did just tell
Yeah.
everybody that.
Okay.
Now everyone can play with the devs. Okay, so the next question is also valid. Question from
I think
Fluke.
it's full.
What were
I
you
have the
thinking with
player.
taking
Go.
the hopper out behind the shed? That's another
We
UR
gotta
question.
remake the move. One of the LCW, please leave. Real quick.
That was actually an honest mistake, but then we fixed it, right? So now it should be
Do you
back
guys
to
in the chat,
supply.
do you feel like the hopper's been fixed? No, it's worse than before. You didn't fix
Liars.
Hopper. Liars.
Here you go.
Exactly.
Nope.
So at least the intention is there. We don't intend to kill the hopper. That will be fixed. That will be fixed. The hopper needs to go 300
And to kill the
kilometers an hour in
vector.
their boost. Time to kill the vector.
We're gonna go back to our favorite, our favorite game mode, which is killing the vector, and
Yeah.
then also nerfing the cruiser, which I think we also did. That was between betas 2 and 3, or 3 and 4.
Hang on. Real
No.
quick. Riv, Luis, I'm gonna remake the room. Too many people
Okay.
keep joining.
Okay.
So here's another question. What does Airframe Ultra's map design process look like? And what makes a good Airframe map compared to a bad one? That's a really good question.
Yeah, that is a very good question. Because I've been using the same method all the time, which is just Blender, right? And then I got better and better, and I made Ocean Drive, which was a great map. And then I continued using the same method, and I made a state, which is a bad map. Sure.
It's just the classic bell curve. That's what
We'll
it
have
is,
to
right?
see. Yeah, I suppose so. It's a normal.
I really
distribution.
like a state. I don't know what people are talking about with a state. I think it's just I still think it's visibility issues with the state.
Yeah, it looks cool, I think, but it's difficult to play, and I think part of why it's difficult to play is because it looks so red.
Yeah.
State
No,
also went through a ton of
We'll see what we can do.
playtesting. It was maybe the map that changed the most between its very first iteration in playtesting and what eventually went live with the beta.
Which one was?
Estate,
Yeah.
I think.
I guess so. I feel like also a
Yeah,
lot
I
of
think so
assets
too.
like. Go ahead. Sorry.
You go, James.
Okay, I will. I feel like it came to a lot of the assets came together right towards the end, right before the beta test. So we didn't have a ton of time to like really workshop them. So it was sort of like a live hot seat situation.
Yeah, like the phase of sanding it down, so to speak, was kind of short compared to the others because
exactly.
everything just came together in the end.
I'm looking forward to seeing that one get some polish.
Yep.
You know, speaking of tracks, Aurora had a question. What are the biggest considerations when it comes to track design, and how does this differ between tracks? What would you answer to that, Yor?
I think, and this is going to shock everybody, but I think my main consideration is trying to make it clear where to go.
Lies.
And that's the difficult one, right? Because I think normally a racing game, you kind of have this you have this very straightforward track that's like two walls, and then the track is in between there. But what we're trying to do here is something a little bit more interesting, because it's fun to move through different environments and like go into a different sort of lighting condition, or go into like a place that's lit differently or narrower, and then it gets wide and stuff like that. So we're going for way more variety in the environments than what's usual in a racing game, I think. And that's also what makes everything a little bit more difficult in terms of leading the players along. But we're doing our best.
As usual with our development style, it's like we're like, why don't other games do this thing? And then we find out, and then we find out hard why they don't do that, but then we still do it. So yeah, you get to see that process in situ. Here's a really good question that I want to talk about, but I don't know if you all want me to talk about it. This Strife Deck asks, any plans to include more police-related stuff? Would be cool to see some more PvE stuff. Now, personally, that's a huge push for me. That's the next leg of development. I really want to lean into that. But like the goal obviously isn't just to have this like ultra overpowered helicopter just like come in and obliterate everybody. The idea was that it was going to be more of like a stepwise progression of like police elements coming in until that being the end. But we just don't have that in yet, and it's going to take a bit of time.
Yeah, a little bit of a ramp up would be very beneficial.
Yeah. No, it's kind of crazy because so much of these tests, like we need to have these public betas so we can get like feedback and like understand the problems with kind of like the game loop and the bugs that pop up and stuff like that. But also like we have a lot of development that we haven't had time for yet, just because we're working so hard to get the multiplayer functionality and like the base loop of the game like smooth and playable. So it's a tricky balance, because oftentimes you guys see stuff that is pretty in development and pretty just like whatever we need feedback on at the time. So it's interesting having, I mean, our design process for Rain World was so different, right? It was something where we could sort of just like do it in the basement in the dark for like years and then show people. But with a multiplayer game, you really can't. Like, there's no possible way that we could have just like done all the work that we wanted to do and then just throw it on the audience, because it would have just been an incomprehensible mess and then completely DOA. So it's been interesting on our side to sort of like develop this new way. And thanks to all of you guys for having patience with us and kind of joining us on this process, because it's been pretty cool.
Amen.
Okay, we have another one. This is a quick one. Will you guys be at PAX East? We are not going to be at PAX East this year. I actually will be there, so I don't know if you see me, come say hi, but we will not be demoing Airframe at PAX East this year. Another one that I wanted to hit on that I thought was a pretty interesting question was about the design of the bikes. What is the design philosophy between the different bikes and their strengths and weaknesses, and how do we go about balancing those bikes?
James?
Well, I don't.
Should I?
Yeah, I think that's definitely, because you have a pretty specific philosophy behind it. I would say that I think isn't entirely apparent unless you sort of know and then you get it. So I think if you want to talk about that, I think that'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I think what we're hoping is for the next playtest to feature a little bit of this stuff that I would be talking about. So I think maybe it's better to keep a little bit of a lid on that. But
You always
what
say
I suppose
that.
I could what I suppose I could say is that it is not the intention that the bikes should be just as good as each other in different ways, but we are instead doing something slightly different, and that's going to be apparent as we move on. Is that too vague?
I think I'm so shocked, because I feel like finally you have like an opportunity to sort of like tell the story behind your sort of like balancing philosophy, and you're just like, no. you do you though.
I don't know. I just worry everybody will get mad.
You guys won't get mad, okay? Everybody, listen. Everybody loves you. You are. I am always hearing it. Whenever we're in game, okay, you're the legend in this chat. Something I wanted to ask also on the line of bikes is what inspired the aesthetic direction and how did the ideation process unfold? This is from Igorma.
The aesthetic direction. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I made the blunt nose first, and then the others are essentially just variants on that, right? So it's like, what if it was bigger? What if it was, etc. And I think when it came to that original blunt nose, like I think the aesthetic I'm going for here is something that's like futuristic, but still very clunky and rough looking in a way, right? Like it should look like something that smells like diesel rather than some sleek, the aesthetic goal for all of this stuff, like this entire world essentially, I suppose, right? Like the helicopter and the bikes and the cars and all of that supposed to you feel like it would make a big hollow tin sheet sound if you slap it.
Yeah, I feel like the aesthetic is kind of like what if technology was frozen in like the early 80s, basically, like the early 80s design philosophies, and we have some sort of like in-game world building around that. But yeah, chunky, that cool like anime mechanical look. I mean, I think pretty clearly we got the Akira bike influence. Like there's no going around that. But yeah,
Can't get around that one. No. Yeah,
Okay,
no, I suppose it's retro futuristic, right? It's like if you go back in time a little bit and look what they considered the future to look like. Sorry, buddy, I didn't mean to cut you
no,
off there.
you're all good. This one comes from Freddy Road Rash, also on the line of aesthetics. What was the idea behind some of the more exotic helmets of the lot? Stuff like goggles, the full dome, the Cyclops. It makes Freddy wonder about the mechanics for some and how exactly somebody puts on one of these helmets.
Dude, imagine trying to design 12 different helmets that are different enough to be
Mhm.
to be worthwhile to have as different items. Like it's yeah, I don't know. If any of you have ideas for helmets, send pictures. I feel like I've done every helmet there is. And the thing is, the helmet is like the defining characteristic of the character, right? Like that's the main thing. That's what makes the personality, so to speak. So we want to have as many helmets as possible, but yeah, it's basically just me trying to do every single helmet-ish idea I could come
It's
up
also
with.
tricky too because there's so many like helmet focused media around. So it's like you're trying to do something that covers all these bases. You want to have as many helmets as possible, but also they have to not look like you're just like ripping off the infinity of Star Wars helmets or something like that. It's tricky.
Mhm.
Yeah, it can't be like straight up Master Chief's actual helmet, obviously.
I like the idea of like like creating extremely esoteric lore for all of this helmets. Like, and asks how the fuck does the blind helmet work? Well, listen, actually, there are echolocation receptors in the, like or whatever. Just for all of the helmets, we have incredibly dense lore. Another question on bike combat that comes from Rufus DeFox: is there going to be any bike focused for bike on bike combat? Is that going to be reserved for on foot arenas and movement tech?
That's
I'm
a
sorry,
cool
what was
one.
the question? Is there going to be any bike focus for bike focused? I didn't get that quite.
Is there going to be any bike focused for bike on bike combat? So imagine we implement a bike that is really bad at the races, but is an absolute, tank in the battling arenas.
That's hoppers
Isn't that
basically.
just Hopper though?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, in a certain sense, I definitely think that's true. Yeah, absolutely. Also, the vectors are
Unless
the
they were
opposite of that, right?
asking, unless they were asking if it's like bike versus bike combat, like during the races. I mean, Yor has some tricks up his sleeve. Like we're the combat tech for bike on bike is not hasn't really been explored to the degree that we want to. I don't think we want to
Yeah.
talk about it yet because some of
There's
it's
some stuff
hard.
we want to do.
Yeah, there's a bunch of stuff that we want to do, but it's just we haven't gotten there yet. And if it goes well, it's going to be awesome. But I don't. This is one thing I definitely don't think we should say because if it doesn't work, people will want it, and if it sucks, it sucks. So you'll just have to see.
True. Enough said. Next
Yeah,
question,
yeah.
please.
Oh, that's true. We got this. Igor Ma has the sort of like Spartan Roman brush helmet. That's pretty sick. I like that. That's
Yeah,
something
and
we
this
can
down
talk about.
Freddie Road Rash in the chat has this downhill skating helmet. I've never seen one of those before, but I definitely get it from like from like speed skaters or something kind of along
Like
something kind of along those
the
lines.
sort of extended cranium thing. Is that the type? I haven't seen a
Eclipse.
picture.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
it's sort
It's
of
like
like
the xenomorph.
Oh, cool. Oh yeah, okay, that's sick. Yeah, that's a great idea. That's a really great idea.
Rave, I'm making a new room. If you're ready, let me know and I'll make the max players more.
Not the minions. Not the minions. Come on.
we have some folks asking in the chat about new game modes, for instance, team-based or capture the flag game modes.
I mean, I think we're open to lots of things, but it's right now we're kind of just focused on getting basically there's so much work to do in making a multiplayer game not just like explode when you turn it on that like we're really focused on that. I think we're really working towards having a 1.0 that's just like kind of solid with the fundamentals, and then we're going to explore a lot of like additional stuff. One of the tricks though with all of this stuff though is that like we don't want to be splitting the player base
Hmm.
of an online multiplayer game, especially an indie online multiplayer game. So we're going to really just have to test this stuff out. But yeah, I mean, I think we want to do a lot of fun stuff, and we'd really like to open it up to modders as well to sort of like find like explore modes that we might not think of too. That's going to be another step is sort of like expanding it to modders and seeing what kind of crazy stuff y'all can come up with while we're still focusing on the fundamentals.
Yeah, so I see a number of questions along these lines. So there's also about Fight Club or
Yeah,
the
absolutely.
speeding game mode. All of those modes are definitely things that we're thinking about. We talk about this kind of stuff internally, basically every sort of
Yeah.
meeting. But it's very rare, I would say. It's very rare, I would say, that we want to focus on any of that over just getting this core gameplay loop up and running.
Okay, I have a question that I do want to address, and that's: will you guys add more feminine clothing, such as dresses or skirts? And like, yes, 100%, we intend to do that. The only trick is that a lot of that requires a lot more like fabric physics than what we currently have. So that's something that's going to require a bit more development. But yeah, 100%, that's like a big next step in terms of the clothing options.
Yeah, fun fact, my original design for Jackrabbit included a skirt, and this was when tried to implement the fabric physics and went, oh, actually this is way more complicated than I initially
Yeah,
thought, and
yeah,
we ended up
exactly.
with the final design that you guys saw in beta 3.
That's something where we're going to have to basically like pivot to once we do like a cosmetics
Pivot to skirts.
pivot to skirts. We're going to have to do a
Pivot
dress
to skirts,
pivot,
yeah.
a skirt pivot. Yeah, absolutely.
Will you add long coats or any other similar type of clothing? Oh, okay. So also fun fact,
Same.
my original design for Marcus was he wore a trench coat, and then we learned that the fabric physics on that were also insane, and so we
Yeah.
couldn't we couldn't implement that. So yes, we definitely understand that having a big long flowing trench coat would be amazing, but we are working within the confines of the systems that we have.
Basically, all of it takes is a tremendous amount of time and money. So yes, that's just give us a bunch of time and a bunch of money, and all of these things will be solved. Going back to the different game mode stuff, that was also, so we just implemented this circuit system, right? And kind of one of the goals with the circuit system, for me at least, was having the option of having sort of maps and game modes sort of inserted into like a circuit, essentially, that players can then choose or avoid if they see fit. So that's another, like, this is a tool to sort of make more interesting and unique maps and game modes possible without sort of like bifurcating the player base, as one group focuses solely on doing on foot death matches, and another one focuses solely on just like drag races with the cruiser or something like that. We have to have something that like brings everybody together or forces everybody together. So hopefully we can have a diversity of maps, diversity of game modes, and then everyone gets sort of like crammed into it via the circuit system. But we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, because with a small player base, like maybe it's best if, like, maybe you will need to play what's perhaps not your favorite game mode, but your third favorite game mode. So someone else has someone in there to play against, and then that someone else will play against you in your favorite game mode, right? Because you're brought together in the context of a series of maps or something like that.
Absolutely. And then sort of like bike selection and weapon selection and stuff like that should hopefully turn into more of like a thing, because you have to sort of be thinking about the different game modes and how you're going to approach them and that sort of stuff. So that's where we're hoping to go, but again, we're not there yet at all.
Yeah, exactly. A whole meta around that as well. It's going to be interesting.
Okay, next question, which I think is a meme question from our number one Yoar fan. Will there be gambling in the game?
Actually, there should be. There should be.
I guess you would be like, maybe like between matches, you would gamble. I don't know, what would it be? You would gamble money, and then you could maybe, if you won the match, you would get like just a ton of cash to buy the minigun or something like that.
I love
we'll
Pong,
see what
though.
we can do.
Can I shout out Pong? Maybe we should just bet on Pong. We should have like
I do have a deep love of
bet on Pong
yeah.
matches.
I actually had that as an idea. Like, there could be a safe where both Pong players put money in, and then the winner.
Okay, that's sick. Yeah, absolutely, 100%.
Another question. Will we be doing things to motivate players to join later in the circuits? Currently, the circuits usually end with 2 or 3
Yeah.
people. Listen, I've played a
Yeah,
lot
so-
of circuits since we brought the demo up. A lot of our circuits end with 8 people. But we definitely have lots in mind for how we want to iterate on circuits and getting folks to play out the full run rather than rage quitting. Okay, like cowards. All
Yeah,
right.
exactly. I think maybe we will do something to encourage joining in late, but what we first and foremost are going to do is we're going to encourage sticking with it, and that's systems that are coming up.
Yeah, definitely. And tricky to do.
Here's a question from Aurora. Have you thought about adding fishing to Ocean Drive? Just
That
what we
would be
need
awesome.
a fishing minigame.
It's a good idea. It's a
We
good
really
idea.
do. We also definitely do want to do some sort of like casual mode where players can sort of like explore the maps. But again, that's another thing where we have to just figure out. Like I think Airframe is so fun. There's so many like possibilities of fun stuff to do, and everyone has great ideas, and we want to do like all of them. But we have to make the game actually work.
Yeah. There's a lot of people who love Pong in the chat.
Yeah.
Will the demo be updated once the beta ends? The demo will be returning back to the demo that doesn't have the online capability that you guys know and love. So it'll just be resetting to the demo that we had before the beta.
Say that again.
Yeah, this is just me asking about or it was players asking about the demo, and the demo is going to go back to normal once the beta ends.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Will there be airborne
Tutorials
or
and then
acrobatic?
crickets.
Yeah.
Say that
So
again.
yeah,
What was the question, buddy?
I see folks who are asking about the tutorial experience. I'm actually
Oh
really
yeah.
interested to hear from you guys in the chat if you were thinking about the tutorial experience and thinking about ways that we could upgrade it.
Oh
What
no,
would
we
you
have
add?
hold on. I don't want that. I have
Okay.
a really clear intention for the tutorial. So that's
Mhm.
going to be something that we do when we get close to during the process towards 1.0. But yeah, definitely. No, the tutorial right now is non-existent.
Yeah.
We could certainly acknowledge that it's very outdated as it
Yeah,
is.
it's terrible. It was so many of these things is like we basically have internal testing that we're doing that has to be done, and then we're like, okay, we need to put this in front of beta players. We need to put this in front of a big group to get like information back. But there isn't time to like designing a good tutorial and designing onboarding and all of that. That requires a lot of focus. That requires a lot of time that you can't actually do until the game exists. Like you can't tutorialize things that haven't been developed yet. So that's the trick that we're at now is like getting you guys on board and playing, which a lot of you seem to be doing amazingly well with. And once we get to the point where we actually have all of the systems that we're going to have to tutorialize, and we have all of the things that we're going to have to like basically info dump on, then we can make like a nice tutorial. Hopefully, it'll still be janky, but it'll be better than what exists right now for sure.
It will float up to the base layer of jank, rather.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, we have a question from Banani. You have 2 names, and I don't know which one would be right. Will the jackrabbit ears be a separate accessory or only connected to the helmet? Having ears on any helmet would give way more customizability.
I think right now it's just a helmet.
I think it's just on that helmet. We have talked quite a lot about customizability, though. One of the core pillars for the game that we have believed since moment one is that we want to give players as many cool ways to express themselves as we
Within
can.
reason.
Yeah, within reason.
Within the design
Within
philosophy.
reason.
Yeah, exactly. No, I mean, Yours, do you want to talk? Because I don't think. Go ahead.
Yeah, Yeah, I mean, obviously, the intention is that you should be able to express your character very widely, but for it to still feel like something that exists within this world, right? So
Yeah.
that's like we want to go wide, but we also want to have a little bit of constraints. So that's the push and pull there, I suppose.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to when we get to actually spend some time doing clothing development and helmet development and focus on some like bike customization stuff, because that all should be like that's going to be such a big thing for fans. It's going to be good. But yeah, just wait for us.
Okay.
Just have patience. Just have patience with us.
Another question from number one UR fan: will there be an Airframe Ultra ranked game mode?
I'm not gamer enough to know what that means, really. What is
I
that?
think it's talking about like a very hardcore sort of competitive, where players are ranking up and getting, and getting to the top of the leaderboard or something along those lines.
Gotcha. I think the core design philosophy here is not for it to be extremely hardcore and competitive, but it is for it to be a good time. And in that, we might need to do, or we might even want to do a little bit of something, right? Maybe like trying to match players with players that are at a similar level and stuff like that. But it's not going to be in the service of like razor sharp leaderboards. It's going to be in the service of a good time for everybody.
Yeah, thank God. Everybody in the chat who is opining, I would say, is not a fan of making the game ultra competitive. Let me tell you, gamers, that was never really the way that we wanted Airframe to go.
Look, I
It's kind
think
of it's
sorry,
outside of
you
our.
go.
No, it's fine. It's
Go
just
ahead.
it's outside of our ability to make something that's jank free enough for like competitive gaming to be viable.
This is like a good
It
argument.
can be. Yeah, I think that's basically what it is. Like we can make something that's cool and fun, and there can be elements of competition in it. But like, as soon as it's something like incentivizes like cheating or that sort of stuff, it just goes so far beyond like our ability to keep up with it that it's like why would we even bother? We want to keep it so it's fun, so it's like a challenge amongst your friends, a challenge amongst your group. You get like wins and celebrations and stuff like that, but not something that anyone's like stressing about, basically.
A question from
100%.
oh, go for it. A question from Bogus: what was the inspiration for the Barks?
Oh,
The Barks came with Bandit 99, right? Wasn't it because
no, that's always been intended.
No, they've
yeah,
been
I
there
think
from
that
the
was the
start. Inspiration, I don't know. Open a text file and write. It's once again.
I think it means like
Just when
it's character expression. Like we don't have we can't have a chat. Like we can't have any sort of multiplayer chat in here. We don't have the capacity to be
do any moderation.
No moderation, no anything like that. So these were just ways that players can interact with each other. They can sort of express their themselves within a way that we can kind of like regulate easily, like limit the options. And that goes for the gestures, that goes for the barks, all of that sort of stuff. And I think it's also kind of
And
fun.
also, yeah, isn't it kind of fun as well? Because it sort of steers the interaction into the direction or the vibe that we want the game to have, right? Like we can sort of skew how player interactions go into the general atmosphere we want to have in these lobbies.
Hope that answers
So
the
another
question.
one on Barks. Who does the voices for the Barks?
Lots of people. No, Lydia, who you know from the Rain World soundtrack, from as the voice of Moon, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. She's basically has a whole cast of voice actors that she's been drawing on, and we are doing some more sessions soon for some more voice acting. So yeah, I'm pretty stoked with the outcome of all that. there's quite a bit more of that to add as well. So fingers crossed.
Someone is asking, what is the lore behind the policemen? And this is a question that interests me because these guys, they're gangsters, man. Like it's just like these sovereign police districts, just like wreaking havoc, and it's rough out there. So don't feel bad about taking down the helicopter.
Murking a cop. Yeah, and hopefully we can expand on that more with the other police and like security measures that we're going to enter into the game. Hopefully it'll make more sense when we get to 1.0.
Which
Will the
would
game
be
be
worse?
translated into other languages? Absolutely going to be translated into other languages for sure. Go ahead, buddy. Sorry.
Yeah, we're absolutely going to localize. But I'm looking at which would be worse to live as a normal person in: Ghost in the Shell, Akira, or Airframe. I think Airframe would be a kind of terrible to live in. Just think about the amount of times I die in any individual race.
Ooh, here's a good question. Will there be mid-air tricks and flips in Airframe?
It's a good idea. We're, however, pretty much running out of buttons on the controller, but let's see what we can do.
Yeah, absolutely. And some of this stuff it's actually like low lift. Like putting in some of this stuff is relatively. I say this because I don't have to program it, but it's relatively easy compared to some of the other stuff that we're doing. But it just requires everything else to work first. So that's my hobby horse for this entire call is like we have to make the game not blow up first before we add more things.
Reasonable enough.
Another question on sort of lore: are there any particular themes, settings, or environments we'd like to explore in upcoming maps?
That's a great question.
I mean, that's the whole excitement about a new map, right? Not knowing what theme or environment it is until you see it.
I will say, just no, there will be no spoilers. Okay, we're not going to talk about anything. But we have put a ton of time into, the location that is Mega City West and the way that sort of the city lives and breathes. So there's a lot behind the scenes that hasn't made its way to you guys yet. And I imagine new maps are going to be maybe one of the big ways that you'll see some of that stuff.
Absolutely. Okay, here's someone is putting an elephant in the room. I think we need to address.
We need to address the
Thingamagic.
elephant.
Okay, what is it? What skill level is the game appealing to? Is it trying to lean into the chaotic, clunky nature of newer players or the speed and adrenaline of high skill level matches? Which one is prioritized?
Interesting question.
I mean, probably the that is a really interesting, the midpoint. Let's say the midpoint. Let's say the midpoint.
Politician
But I don't
answer.
think But I don't think we want something that, like, obviously we need it to be something that's fun for new players and that, like, you can have a good time just sitting down with your friends. Like, that was such the appeal of, like, the Twisted Metal games or any of these things, is you could just sort of, like, hop in with a group of people who don't really care about it too much and just have a good time. And I think that's kind of the philosophy that we sort of strive for with all of it. But obviously we enjoy making, like, the depth of movement. We enjoy making these sort of like dense levels and this like the world building and all of that. So yeah, hopefully we can sort of chaotically do both of those things to a degree. But I think the experience will wane as like an ultra high skill level player unless you start doing these these intentional nerfs that are going to be part of the progression system. But we'll see how all that goes. We're still testing. We're still figuring it out. And we're still taking your feedback into all of this as well.
It should be a good time, is the idea.
As it stands, Airframe is painful for new players since it's a multiplayer game. New players get stomped by better players and stop playing. Yeah, absolutely. And this is
aware.
We're definitely aware of that, and that's just like we haven't implemented anything like ranked matches. We haven't implemented anything like an XP system or anything like that, so we can do any sort of matchmaking. We just this most recent test, we just needed to get a bunch of players in there to sort of stress test the servers and see how everything interacted, and now we can sort of start implementing that stuff. So hopefully these will improve
Hey
as we
guys,
go along.
we went from like 2D platformer to internet game in 3D.
Absolutely,
We're as
absolutely.
astounded as you are.
Absolutely. No, but it is crazy because I feel like the expectations for an online multiplayer game is that something that has like a $6 billion budget and is like a live service game put together by like 10,000 people, and we're just not that. And it's going to take some time for us to sort of like iron out the points. But I think honestly the results so far have been fabulous, and I'm very proud of the work that Yor has done, and I've really been proud of the work that Akbar has put into sort of community building and doing all of the beta testing and stuff like that. I think we have a great community, and I think that's going to carry us through the rough moments of us, figuring how to do like ranked matchmaking from the ground up, basically.
It's also very interesting because normally with a video game you have this extremely difficult engineering task of making a million systems work together. But then now we have that extremely difficult engineering task, and on top of that, suddenly there's like crowd psychology stuff and like hundreds of people, and yeah, it's a fun, interesting challenge, and we're wrestling it live
Yep.
every day.
You're seeing it live.
On that note, Natio asks, have you been enjoying the process of making a multiplayer game in Airframe in general?
That's a good question. Yoro, what's your take on it? Is doing Airframe versus Rainworld? Like, what's the different strengths and weaknesses of that development style?
It's actually fun because Rainworld was also very fun to develop, but it was sort of an introspective, brooding kind of experience where with deeply furrowed brows. And this is people are involved, and like it's out in the world, and it feels like a thing that's sort of more open to the world around it. So it's a fun. Yeah, it's a fun contrast.
With Rainworld, like if someone complained about something that we had some sort of feeling about, they'd be like, "Oh, we don't like the such and such," and we'd be like, "We don't care. Like we're doing it anyways because this is our deeply personal art." But I think with Airframe, if someone says like, "Oh, you should put a chainsaw on a chain and swing it around," we're like, "Yeah, that's a great idea." Like it's more fun. It's more fan focused. It's for you guys. It's for the audience, and it's for us to sort of like play in this kind of like sandbox world. It feels different.
There's an elephant in the room. What's the minimum wage in Mega City West?
Oh my god.
Probably there isn't one, right? It's like a corporate hellscape, right? They would
pesos, yeah, something like that.
Yeah,
Pesos, something like that. Not great. It's not great. That's for
not
sure.
not great. It's very bad. Okay.
All right, gang.
Listen, why would we be biking around if we had jobs? Okay, that's what the airframes are for.
Yeah, and this is like the airframe racing is supposed to be seen as kind of like it's not like a viable career, but it's like a desperation strategy for those who are like the lowest rank. It's like the only way that you can escape the favelas or you can escape your sort of like corporate slave job is you could race airframes at night, that sort of thing.
Absolutely.
As we all feel.
Okay, we will take one more question before James and Uar head off into Night Ride, okay, and we get down and dirty playing some games with the community. What's a good last question for us to hit on?
Are there any plans for single player? That keeps coming up.
This is this is a good one to end on, I think.
I mean, yes, but in what way we don't know yet. It's just we're gonna have to. That's one we have to figure out for sure. So although we have potentially people working on some solutions right now, we'll see how it goes. But we will communicate these when they become viable.
Yeah, something that we've definitely heard loud and clear is that you guys love the sort of the lore and the world, and you want an opportunity to explore the maps and everything that is going on in Mega City West. And so that's definitely something that we're keeping an eye on, I would say.
Absolutely. Well, thanks,
Okay.
gang. Appreciate all the questions. Appreciate Akbar for setting this all up, and appreciate you guys playing Airframe Ultra for the Steam Next Fest, getting those numbers up. We love y'all.
Okay, thank you so much, James and Yorah, for hanging out.
See.
Listen, gamers, I'm about to get in game. If you want to kill me, if you want to kill Luis, if you want to kill Xavier and Riv, I think now might be a good time.
Hey,
Yeah.
I'll jump in there for good measure.
Let's
Oh
go.
my
See
god,
you on the
let's
circuit,
go.
buddy.
See if you can
Let's go.
kill Yoar. Let's see. Let's see.
Let's see it.
Bye, guys.
3, 2, 1.
Ciao.
Bye, everybody.
Bye bye.
Do you want me to make a new room so we all play together, or?
Yeah, probably. Give me just 10 seconds to set my life up. And get the game all loaded up.